Hi, everybody. Dr. Steve Hassan. I just spontaneously decided to do a short Substack Live. And as people are joining, holding up a copy of my book that came out originally in 2019 and was re-released in 2024 with a foreword by George Conway and an afterword by myself. And I'm very motivated to do this today as we're ending 2025 and looking at 2026. And I have some very important thoughts that I'd like to share based on my 50 years. That's right, 50 years since being deprogrammed from the Moonies. In fact, May 11th is my 50th anniversary of my waking up moment. And I was truly a fanatic, not unlike Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I really was inspired to do this because I read Robert Draper's magazine profile on Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I got to admit, I was much more skeptical when I first heard her resignation message. But seeing her on Bill Maher, seeing her on The View, and now listening to this interview, I really think that so much is happening with her. And it seems to me like her coming back to core values and remembering that she's a woman, that she got recruited through the QAnon psyop, saying that there was a massive trafficking conspiracy done by the Democrats. And indeed, there is a massive trafficking conspiracy, but involves both Democrats and Republicans and libertarians and atheists and all kinds of other people, including Russian intelligence, apparently, and Israeli intelligence. There's so much that we really need to cover quickly and say mind control is not 100%. And as I've been describing in combating cult mind control and freedom of mind and the cult of Trump, the person's core self gets hacked by a cult programmed identity that's formulated in the image of the leader and the ideology. But there's dissonance, there's conflict between the cult programmed identity and the real self. And it's family and friends and caring people who are good listeners, asking questions in a respectful way that can help people to reality test and realize that even though they didn't think they were brainwashed, they actually were. And what helped me back in 76 was learning about Chinese communist brainwashing. And Robert Lifton's book, Thought Reform and the Psychology of Totalism, that was published in 1961. And his 8 criteria in chapter 22, we went through all 8 with the Moonies, and the Moonies did all 8. And it was weird as a Moonie because we were God and they were Satan, but we were doing the same Chinese communist brainwashing techniques. This led to an entire career of mine, writing 5 books, doing a doctorate, doctoral dissertation on how to update the law regarding undue influence. And so my message is this: we need to have hope. We need to be grateful. We need to be focused on doing something every day within our own capacity. Some people are creatives. They can write songs. They can do pictures. They can write poetry. Some people are gifted in other ways. Some people have financial reserves that instead of giving it to a generation that may not have freedom to enjoy it, to start investing in a very coordinated strategic plan. And from my point of view, having written The Cult of Trump, the only solution to psychological warfare, especially with Zuckerberg and Musk and Thiel and Bezos and Andreessen coordinating for this network state authoritarian vision, we need to get together and get our messaging correct. And that is, we've been hacked. Our minds have been hacked. It's been a 50-year project to take down the United States of America. It's been systematic. There are very well-established bad actors. And those of us who have been just active citizens researching and sharing information amongst ourselves, we have a lot to say. But the critical thing is understanding we're social beings, we're emotional beings, and we're in psychological warfare is being assaulted on us as things are getting dismantled. And reacting with outrage is not the solution. The solution is widespread psychoeducation, in my opinion. Really studying the influence continuum, studying the bite model of authoritarian control, listening and platforming more former members who either had left a totalitarian dictatorship like the Soviet Union or China or any number of other despotic countries, or people born and raised in authoritarian religious cults or therapy cults. We have a message that is able to um, convey with heart how our minds got bent and how we were disconnected from our hearts, from our conscience, from our ability to think for ourselves and reality test. So I'm very hopeful with Marjorie Taylor Greene in this article. We have a chance to help millions exit MAGA, millions, but it's going to take strategic messaging. I've been doing some videos of how not to talk to your MAGA loved one and how to talk to your MAGA loved one. There really is methodology that works to understanding it's a dissociative disorder. And so roll up your sleeves and start learning and not just spending time doom scrolling, but learning and practicing how to talk effectively with people who are still in MAGA. It's not by attacking Trump. It's not with facts. It's not with logic. It's with warm engagement, respectful, active listening, drawing them out, asking them to go back in time to their earliest memories of Trump and whether they liked him or trusted him, and how what forces changed their mind that made them believe that Trump was a person for the people and that a pathological liar could be trusted to have the most important position. Study malignant narcissism. This is Eric Fromm's criteria for Hitler, and it's the stereotypical profile of all cult leaders. I compared Trump with Jim Jones, Moon, my former cult leader, and Hubbard of Scientology. We can do this, but it's going to take a massive effort. And I'm really calling on former members of cults who are exited, their family and friends who witnessed the radicalization. We want to welcome people who are questioning MAGA. The last thing we want to do is say, you call them names or say we told you so and such. These folks have been traumatically indoctrinated. This is my professional opinion based on 50 years. And Americans have very different DNA than people who were raised in the Soviet Union or other authoritarian cults. We are spoiled to know about rule of law and human rights, and we don't want to lose these. We don't want Palantir to be a surveillance state where all of our data is being manipulated and controlled. That's what's coming down the pike. And we're going to need to have an all out effort in 2026 to get people active and not compliant to this authoritarian takeover. Resistance is necessary, and we need to work together strategically. So I know this is very short. I am continuing to put out some social media videos, my Substack article. I republished a very important interview with the son of one of the most extremist white nationalists, Kelvin Pierce. Check out my Substack. Next week, we have a Czech disinformation expert, Alex Alvanova. I'm butchering her name, Alvanova. Um, Lots coming into 2026. And remember, freedom of mind, and it's your mind, and only you should control it. Please consider subscribing to my Substack, my YouTube. I'm going to start again doing live streams next week. I took a couple of weeks off as I'm trying to recharge my batteries, and I'm trying to role model recharge your batteries, because we're in it for the long haul, people. So thank you so much for listening in. We'll have a recording of this, and please share it and like it and restack it and all the other stuff. I so appreciate, and thanks so much. Take care.